I learned a lot from watching the Great North episode High Expectations Adventure, which actually has a triple meaning. High Expectations because Judy Tobin and Kima Evanoff are goody four shoes, meaning two pairs of goody two shoes. They're both good students, and they're both good overachieving students in school who go on a lot of weekend field trips. High Expectations because they accidentally get high from eating the gummies of a teenage girl who sounds suspiciously similar to Judy Tobin's brother Moon and has mostly black hair, but with two pink streaks on this side of her head. And High Expectations because in the other storyline focused on the rest of the Tobin family back in Lone Moose, while Judy, Kima, and Mr. Golovkin flew off to Juneau. Wolf Tobin had unusually high expectations for his soggy hoagie that nobody wants because it's more condiments than bread. The Wet Wolf. And so yeah, the Great North episode High Expectations Adventure taught me a lot about anyhow, the Great North's High Expectations Adventure, the Great North's episode High Expectations Adventure, and the Molly of Denali episode Molly and Elizabeth, which aired 2.5 years prior to High Expectations Adventure. They both taught me a lot about Elizabeth Prachovich, whose name used to be Elizabeth Wanamaker before she got married. And they encouraged me to research more about her life story and the positive history that she made for Alaska and the rest of the United States at large. Of course, in the other case with Molly of Denali, Molly of Denali is a cartoon made for PBS Kids and not for Fox, so Molly and Tui did not have to get high to learn life lessons from Elizabeth Prachovich. Thank goodness. Because even though it was kind of funny to watch Judy and Kima play around in Juneau and go on, and going on a school trip after they, in addition to the school trip they are already taking. Mr. Golovkin and Alanis Morissette make a point to remind us viewers, along with Kima and Judy, that edible gummies are really, really dangerous and no minors should ever take them, even though marijuana is probably legal in Alaska, it's still not appropriate for minors, no matter what state in which you live. So, even if the writer's information, even if the information that the Great North Writers had at the time about the legality of marijuana in Alaska was slightly inaccurate, it was still more accurate to warn us that teens should not get addicted to edible marijuana. But yeah, I like High Expectations Adventure because it was both very funny and very informative. Somehow it hit that sweet spot of combining drug-induced hilarity with serious, important, valuable life lessons about how to honor the legacy of Elizabeth Prachovich, how to honor the legacy of Elizabeth Wanamaker without doing more of the same as what she did in the past. On February 16th, 1945, Elizabeth Pratrovich is her married name, I just stated that. Elizabeth Pratrovich helps the governors of Alaska pass a law against discrimination for to give Native folks the equal opportunities to white folk to access other businesses and stores, which knowing this now, the cottage cheese ghost of Elizabeth's silly and complicated mission for Kima and Judy makes more sense. Playing hooky from school and going to a bunch of other random places had some purpose in telling Kima what to do about discrimination against Alaska Natives, especially when dealing with Bonnie Bunchleg, a senator of Alaska who despite being Native herself, is an evil banana that always opposes legislation that would benefit Native Alaskans. So when Kima and Judy have fun playing hooky and going to Tracy Crab Cakes, to the HMS Crab Cakes restaurant and tattoo parlor and frozen yogurt restaurant and hot dogs, it teaches Kima and Judy how far they've come since Elizabeth's time, because even though they weirded out some people with the way they're laughing and being visibly and audibly high, it was still a lot of worthwhile fun. It was still a lot of worthwhile educational fun for Kima to have, to see how well Elizabeth's legislation has stuck, because Kima got to be included in the same fun as her white best friend Judy Tobin. Kima got to be included Kima got to enjoy the fun with her white best friend and white ally for Native Alaskans, Judy Tobin. Also, I'm very sure the reason why Mr. Golovkin, why Mr. Golovkin administered his own punishment for Judy and Kima by keeping them in his classroom in the detention for the rest of high school to grade papers with him and help him with other after school hours tasks, but wouldn't tell Kima's parents and Judy's dad or brothers where they were, is because he knows it would reflect very poorly on him if they knew about his irresponsibility to let Judy and Kima get away so easily. He didn't know that he needed to keep a closer eye on them, or that they would take edible gummies and get lost for a couple of hours. But yeah, High Expectations Adventure really has inspired me to one day want to take an airplane trip to Juneau, Alaska, to learn about state legislation there, and also to learn about legislation in my own state of Pennsylvania. But obviously not to get high on edible gummies, even though I am 27, so I'm legally allowed to take them. I still don't want to do that. So yeah, High Expectations Adventure was a really fun and fulfilling episode to watch. So just you wait until February 16th to celebrate, because that's when we celebrate Elizabeth Wanamaker Day, also known as Elizabeth Pratchevich Day. Although really, if you care more about Alaska, you'd also celebrate Elizabeth on more days of the year than just February 16th. I think it's really nice that, I think it's actually kind of a nice coincidence that Elizabeth Wanamaker was born on July 4th, 1911, because, it's July 4th is Independence Day, and Elizabeth fought a lot for the citizenship independence for Alaskans. Yeah. It's really sad that Elizabeth Pratchevich died early from breast cancer on December 1st, 1958, because it means she never lived to see Alaska and Hawaii become a state, which she could have if she had survived for 1 year longer. So, I'm dedicating this video to the loving memory of Elizabeth Pratchevich. And as for the other storyline with the Wet Wolves, I'm actually quite disappointed that they didn't find a funny way to connect Judy and Kima's A Story in Juneau with Wolf and Honeybee's B Story in Lone Moose, because I have a solution for what could have happened with this. Judy and Kima had the munchies while they were high, which is why they ordered everything on the menu in HMS crab cakes, but they only had enough arm strength to carry half of the dishes when Mr. Glomkin caught them. They carried half the dishes and ran away. They dined and dashed. Poor Mr. Glomkin was left to pay their tab. He was such in a hurry to get them that he just went out of the bathroom, and surprised that he didn't try to get on his regular clothes back on first. So here's how I would have connected Judy and Kima's. Here's how I would have connected Kima's and Judy's A story with Wolf's B story. Kima and Judy both return into the Tobin family's house after being sent home early because Kima chewed out Bonnie Bunchleg by calling her a bad word to start, among other things we viewers didn't get to hear and see after that. But yeah, because Kima and Judy made such an inappropriate scene at the Juneau legislator's house, Mr. Glomkin needed to take them home early. And so here's what I could imagine happened after Kima and Judy returned home while still being a little high. They might both hide together in Judy's house, because it's better to risk only one of their families seeing them like this rather than both families. And Wolf is happy with the Hoagie Pony naming the water station after him. The Wolf's Wet Water proved to be a preferable alternative to the Wet Wolf for Wolf and for everyone else, because water is way more important than food. So Wolf Tobin, being satisfied with the Wolf's Wet Water Station and having his wet dream of having a Hoagie Pony restaurant product named after him coming true, he is about to throw away his Wet Wolf hoagies that nobody wanted to eat, because they have no meat. They just a slice of Swiss cheese soaked with 5 different condiments: mayonnaise, relish, mustard, ketchup, Thousand Island dressing. I think it's 5 condiments. It could be 6. Wolf is about to throw away his condiment-soaked hoagies known as Wet Wolves, but Kima and Judy tell him not to. And even though Judy and Kima hated Wet Wolf Hoagies as much as, even though Kima and Judy hated Wet Wolf Hoagies as much as the rest of the Tobin family before they went on their weekend field trip to Juneau, they still have the munchies because the effects of the gummies have not yet completely worn off. So that is why they're the only two hungry enough to enjoy Wolf Tobin's Wet Wolf Hoagies. That is how High Expectations Adventure could have connected both storylines if Kima and Judy had an additional scene where they meet Wolf again at the end of both of their stories. Regardless of why this is happening, Wolf Tobin is happy with himself to finally have two people he knows who enjoy the Wet Wolf Hoagies besides himself. And it is all thanks to Kima and Judy's munchies. Edible gummies making Kima and Judy hungry for everything. That is why they agreed to eat Wolf Tobin's Wet Wolf Hoagies, and why Wolf Tobin agrees to keep where they have been a secret. I mean, why Wolf Tobin would agree with Kima and Judy to keep their highness and their dolphin tattoos a secret from the rest of their respective families. Anyhow, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed my take and review of the Great North's episode of High Expectations Adventure. I really missed the Great North, and I already made a video explaining why the Great North has a unique edge over Bob's Burgers. And if you want the Great North to be uncanceled one day soon, then write some letters to the Fox Broadcasting Company or to 20th Television Animation explaining to Fox why they should and why they could uncancel the Great North 3 years after and bring it back on the air 3 years after it was canceled once their Sunday night animation domination lineup makes more room to include it. Thank you for watching this video. Like and subscribe if you want to watch more videos by Adamphibia. So long for now, viewers. I will see you again in the next video I make.